Alright guys, I'm just going to show you another sort of trick here in SolidWorks. So it's just how to measure the frontal area of this van trailer because yes, Fluent can measure it for you, but it could take a while to boot up that Fluent file just to measure area. So it'd be much better if you could measure it from SolidWorks, and there's a way to do it. So what you want to do is just start a sketch on a frontal plane. So I know that there's a frontal plane um, here on this one here, right plane. So I'm doing my sketch there. You come over to Tools, and you come down to Sketch Tools and Silhouette Entities. If you click a silhouette on all the, I don't need the back wheels because they're covered by the front wheels, and just click a tick on that, and you'll see what it'll create now in a second. Create the sketch that protrudes everything onto that front. So all I got to do then is extrude that a little bit. Once that extrudes, then come over here and click Evaluate, Measure, and then measure that guy's frontal area. And you can see his area there is that's it fully. And if you were dealing with a half fan simulation, which we are most of the time, you'd half that, and you'd see it comes in at about 1.577 something, which is basically what I was working with there according to Fluent. If you remember, that's what I was kind of working, roughly half of that. So that's a quick way you can measure area in SolidWorks. Just important that you know it. Right, so let me X out of that. There is another trick that I want to show, so I'll just stop this video and I'll set up for another one. Right, so the trick I have here, this is one that you'd use if you were just starting from scratch. You know, you just have to import some geometry from SolidWorks, and you're just going to start it up here in Spaceclaim to begin the pre-processing process. So what you're going to do is, you know, you're going to create your planes, your symmetry plane. You're going to create some bodies of influence around your wheels and stuff. You're going to create an enclosure. But this is particularly pertaining to the enclosure. So with the enclosure, you're going to need to know the full length, height, and width of your geometry from SolidWorks. So that, say you want your domain to be a certain distance in front and behind the van trailer in my case. So that can be a bit awkward to measure in SolidWorks. You're there with the measure tool and stuff. So there's a cool hack you can use in here to get that done for you. So as you'd know, you'd go over here through repair and you'd repair all the, you know, the split edges, and over here you check for short edges and stuff. You are preparing this properly, and you do all the planes and stuff as I've shown in previous videos. But for the minute, I want to create an enclosure around this. So I come over here to prepare, and I click enclosure, and I highlight everything like that, left to right. I turn off this symmetrical dimensions, so I can come out a certain amount in front, whatever, 8,000. I could go maybe 20,000 behind, but that's a bit messy. So what you want is to, my rule of thumb is to go 4 of the full lengths of this, the full length of that times 4 out in front, and that full length times 12 behind. But I need to know that length, and I do something similar for height and width. So what I do is this: I go back to this symmetric cushion thing, right? And what I do is, that's perfectly symmetrical all around that. So I set this to 500 mil this way, 500 mil that way, and 500 mil this way. So what that does is it takes whatever the length of that is and pushes out 500 mil past the edge from each side. So you click OK on that, and you get a piece of paper, and you make a note on all these dimensions. So I'll measure this. That measures to be 8726. Remember, we're 500 mil extra either side, so the full length of that fan, without needing to measure it in SolidWorks, is 7726. And you can do the same for this. You take 1,000 of that, the full width is 2261, and then the full height is 1865. Okay, so you can measure width, height, and length without needing SolidWorks by just using that cool trick. So always remember to take the 1,000 off, and always remember to set the cushion to be 500 mil around. You just click Control Z, okay, and you get back to this here once you've made a note of all them on your page. So I forget what it was like 7.7, whatever, 7700 times 4 out in front, and then 7700 times 12 out the back, and I don't know what it was, 1865 times 4 up the top. That's 4 heights above, and then the side there I think was 2265, maybe times 4. And you do the other for this 2265 times 4. and then the bottom doesn't matter. So you click tick on that, and you see you have the domain created around it without needing to have gone in SolidWorks and measured length, width, and height. So that little trick is something that can save you a little bit of time. Okay, thanks. Okay, so what I'm going to show you here in this video is I'm going to show you just some cool tricks that I can use with the pull and the split bodies and split faces thing. So I'm going to remove the outer skin here of this. Now, if you look at the bottom of my van, you say, okay, that body is nice and smooth. There might be an aerodynamic cover underneath it to make it look like that. But you're like, okay, I want to see what this is like aerodynamics wise when it has a messy underbody. And you're like, okay, well, I'm going to need to go into SolidWorks and draw this up with a messy underbody. You know, I'm not going to be able to just use this nice clean underbody Spaceclaim document to do that. But you kind of can if you know how powerful these pull tools and split tools are up here. So once again, you could go and draw it in SolidWorks and then import it in and do all the pre-processing steps that I've showed before in the video, which might be 20-30 minutes and whatever. So that's a face there, and I want to maybe put in some cross members, like what might be some messy stuff, you know, pipes and stuff underneath the and shafts underneath the vehicle. So get the split here, select this face. So I want to split this face up. So I'm just going to create a few things like this. You know, if you're just roughly modeling this, split there. Get another one, split there, split there, and you can obviously put in dimensions on this and make it a little bit more accurate. Split there, and I might split it there maybe. Now I might start splitting it this way maybe. Go there, and another split there. Click, lovely. And you can do other ones as well. There's another version of it here. You can click this face and you can click this. This does a 2.1. There, and you obviously can get the dimensions bang on the way you like them. Okay, so you can see I've sort of done stuff like that. And what you can do is you can start pulling these things back. And I've shown you how to do direction before as well. So you can see I can just bring that back there. Bring this back, you know. So what I'm doing is I'm creating sort of a messy underbody here, and you see you can put little fillets on this here as well. You see, and like I could take time at this, and I could make this. No, I don't know what it's gonna do in there, but that's not the end of the world either. What it's done there. So I can bring that back even further. Now I can put maybe a bit of fillet on this inner face here. So I'd have a kind of an idea first before I start doing the early splits of what I want to do. So you can see I've made it quite messy underneath, but you can make a plan first of all what you would have drawn in SolidWorks and come in here and get it bang on the way you like it. Another fillet there. So right, that's a messy van underbody, just really rough. It'd be quite interesting to see how much more drag is on it because of all these surfaces underneath and compared to the smooth cover it had before. So what I said to you before is you need to be careful. That was one perfect smooth thing. It was probably called van bulk. So that was van bulk. This was van rear. This was the bumper of the van. This was the van's wheel surrounds. That was the van's front and back wheel. That's the van's mirror. So that's everything that was on the van before, and its wheel radii, of course. So I'll hide them. And you notice there's loads of new surfaces that have been made here. Now, what you can do, and I explained to you before, you can make new name selections for them, but that might mess up what you're doing in terms of your Fluent mightn't be expecting for there to be new name selections. So what you can do is I'm just going to hide all the other name selections that are to do with the trailer. So I've shown you how to do a little bit of this in previous video. So, and the T wheel as well, trailer wheel. So all that should highlight here is just the new faces that were created. Now, I want to, now some of them are kind of curved faces, so I don't want them to be that bulk 10mm thing. Some of them are quite small. So I can be quite overcompensating here and call them the fine surface, which gets quite a fine surface mesh on it. So I'm going to do that. So I'm going to show the fine. I'm going to highlight everything, which is going to include all the fine. Another way you could have done this was, well, fine's highlighted there, but you could have just clicked fine and then click control and then highlight everything there, and that'll do it. But I can just highlight everything because fine is showing. So I'll just make sure it's showing again. Yeah, it is showing. Highlight everything. Create name selection, create called 2, copy its name, delete it, and paste this in as fine. And now you see these new surfaces are classed as fine along with the other fine surfaces. So for example, this was a fine surface up here that had nothing to do with the underbody. So they're all tied in under that title fine, and they're all going to get a fine surface mesh on them. So I'll hide that. You'll see that there's no new surfaces. Cool. Right, that's really, really powerful. That saves you so much time going to SolidWorks. If you want to just get a rough idea of what it might be like with a certain few beams going across or something like that, you can do that in Spaceclaim. And you see that only took me maybe 5 minutes. Okay, so come in with a plan. You can do cool stuff like that. Remember the power of pull, move, fill, split body, combine, and split face. Okay, I hope you enjoy that, guys. Thanks for watching.